Alright, so we talked about the if-error statement briefly in lecture 6. I think it's worth revisiting here because it's especially relevant in this context. Again, it's really an excellent tool to eliminate annoying error messages and replacing those with a value of your choosing. There are a couple implications of doing that. The first is in the context of just design and polish. It can be nice as a front-end formatting tool or trick. It can also be really useful on the data side in the back end. So you may want to categorize your data consistently, whether you're seeing an error message or not, or if it's a numerical field that you're working with, and you want to be able to make statistical operations on that column of data. Sometimes having an NA value in there will prevent you from properly calculating those values. So you may want to replace the NA with something like a 0 or another value. So the syntax of the formula, again, is very simple, just two pieces. The value, which is the formula or value itself, that may or may not result in an error. And then the value if error. This is what will replace the default error symbol with whatever you choose. So again, the tip here is just write your full formula first, and then at the end, your last step will be to wrap it in an if-error statement. So let's jump to Excel. And if you recall, with this weather data we're dealing with, we've got some NA values in our temperature column, which is throwing off some of the formulas that we built out in columns I, J, and K. So one by one, I'm just going to wrap each of these in an if-error and set a new value to replace the NA, and we'll just apply it down and watch those error messages update. So in this case, I could assign either a no or a yes in cases where I'm getting an error, but I don't want to because I really don't know what the true underlying temperature should have been, so I don't want to just guess at it. Instead, I'm just going to define anything with an error as other. So I'm going to basically click right after my equal sign. I'm in cell I2 where my freeze formula lives, and I'm just going to type if error, open a parenthesis, and then the value, as you can see, is my entire formula that I had already written. Jump to the end, press comma. Now I'm at my value if error component, and I'm just going to type other in quotes. Sorry, I was blocking you. And close it off with one parenthesis and hit enter. So now when I apply this down, it'll overwrite all my formulas, add the if error piece, and if all goes well, replace any NAs or any other error messages with other. Boom, there you go. So NA in row 12, you can see now it says other. I've got, let's see, NAs in rows 226 and 227. Those have updated to other as well. Looks good. So let's do the exact same thing for the climate column. Type if error, open the parenthesis, jump to the end, comma, other as a string, close it off, apply the formula down, and there you go. So you might have noticed that column K originally had error messages, now it doesn't, and that's just because it was based on the errors that it was seeing in I and J, which have been corrected, so therefore the formula in column K is now good to go. So if we look at the filters, you can see the NA values disappeared. Now we just have yes, no, other. For climate, we have hot, cold, mild, or other. So there you go, using the if error statement to replace NAs with custom values.